Good morning. Good morning. Gee, it's great to start your day with coffee with Karma today. So, are you ready for some wild ideas to help you come up with your book ideas? All inspired by the 1966 TV show Tarzan. Tarzan of the Apes, which I just opened up with his iconic call, and that was Ron Ely, playing the title role of Tarzan, and I probably because I grew up with him, I think he's still the best Tarzan, although, uh, Skarsgård did a pretty good job too, although the movie around him was eh. Anyway, enough about that. Let's get into some Tarzan-inspired ideas for your next client-attracting book. My name is Carma Spence, and I help executive coaches, business leaders, and consultants, as well as entrepreneurs, write their client attracting book, publish their client attracting book, and market their client attracting book so that they can grow their business with all sorts of opportunities, more clients, speaking gigs, media attention, all because you published the right client attracting book, which I can help with. So let's get to idea number one. And that is explore new territories. That means finding unique angles. Tarzan explored uncharted territories of the jungle, right? I mean, he was always going around finding new friends and cheetahs and elephants and apes and all sorts of things. Why not step outside your comfort zone to find unique and fresh angles for your book? So here's a practical tip. Conduct research in unfamiliar areas to uncover new perspectives. I love doing this. It's like there's a couple of genres that are like my wheelhouse. They are the pathways I tend to write my books in. But I like reading outside those areas because it inspires and informs what I'm most comfortable writing in, and sometimes I'll even experiment writing in these other I'm usually really bad because I don't know how I'm in unfamiliar territory, and so, I'm still a rookie there, whereas I'm here, I know what I'm doing. But by doing that, by stretching yourself, you can come up with unique angles that others dare not tread because they aren't doing what you're doing. You are now zigging where they're zagging. So, lesson number 2, listen to the jungle. That means tap into your natural curiosity. Tarzan had a keen sense of awareness and curiosity about his surroundings. Harness your natural curiosity to discover interesting book angles. So, here's a practical tip. Keep a daily journal of your observations and thoughts. You'd be surprised when you go back and read them like, "I thought that? Wow, that was deep." But you don't think about that in the moment. So, keeping a journal of your ideas is a really good idea. I actually have journals, like physical journals. I happen to really like these guys. They're, college ruled. I like college ruled, not wide ruled. I'm finicky that way. These composition notebooks, they're my favorite because they all fit in the same way. They all come in different colors. I just bought some purple ones the other day. Very excited to write in my purple journal. Uh, and I also have files. Like I have an entire file that's called words because I I sub- I used to have a calendar that had all these unusual words. One of those a word a day and like words like fish fag. I mean, whoever who even knew that was a word? And sin eater. Those are the two that I remember the most because I thought, oh, what cool stories you could make out of those. I also subscribe to a word a day, and sometimes there's some really interesting words, and I like doing that and coming up with ideas based on the word. So that's like I have an entire folder of nothing but just words that I think would be inspiring. Sometimes if I come across a quote in a book I've read, I'm like, "Ooh, that would be something interesting to riff off of." So, um, I have a file full of these interesting quotes and stuff. So This is something you can do, and you never know which one of those things that you like just offhand thought, "Oh, that's interesting," and put it in a folder. You go back to that folder every few months and just read through it. You never know which one of those random observations you made are going to be the crux of your next client attracting book. Uh, Lesson number 3, and that is, oh, the call of the jungle, right? The call of the jungle, and that's identify your passion. So Tarzan loves the jungle, and that's why even after going and being Lord Greystoke, he came back to the jungle. He preferred that because that's what he loved. Writing your book in an area that you are passionate about is really important because that helps keep you motivated over the long haul of the book. Don't write a book about something that you're milky toast about because you'll either stop writing it in the middle, you'll write it but not publish it, or you won't market it. And if you don't market it, it's not going to achieve the goal of attracting clients and speaking opportunities and all those. You have to market it. So you want to make sure that, and that's one of the 4 pillars I talk about in a really good solid book idea. One of them is passion. Most people, when I do the author diagnostic on their book idea, most people score highest there, but you'd be surprised. There are the occasional people where they don't score so high there because they are writing what they think they should write rather than what their heart's calling them to write. Now, that said, you don't go all in on passion and forget the other 3 pillars. If you want your book to achieve the goal of attracting clients and opportunities, you have to have all 4 pillars in place. And I did do an episode about that. I will put that in the show notes. But you need to have all 4 of them in place. But passion's one of the more important ones. Lesson number 4, building a treehouse. Even George of the Jungle had a treehouse, right? Well, your treehouse is the structure you give your ideas. Now, I've talked about outlining your book many times, so I'm not going to go into detail here. I will drop some links to some of those episodes where I talked about outlining, but you want to build your book upon a structure. That so what I recommend you do is that you research what needs to go in the book, and what needs to go in the book are 2 things: what your readers are going to expect, those are the giant pink gorillas, and what your readers are looking for but not finding. That's what's going to help set your book apart. And then you layer on your geek factor, what makes you uniquely you. And then that's how you structure your book and you create a table of contents. That's really all that your bare minimum outline is a table of contents. That's all it is. And then as you write the book, you're gonna find out, "Oh, I forgot this chapter," or, "Oh, this chapter no longer works." That happens, and that's okay. Outlines are not written in stone. They are guidelines to keep you on track so that if you wanna stop and go look at the giant ball of yarn, you can, and you can come back and continue on your journey without being completely derailed. And my final tip for the day, tribal wisdom, and that is learning from others. No man is an island, and no author is either. Being an author can be very lonely if you let it. It doesn't have to be. There are author communities. There are book advisors like myself who can provide a community, who can provide guidance. Tarzan learned from the animals and the people he encountered. He lived in community. He really did. He seemed like a standalone guy, but he didn't. He lived in community. Okay, the community happened to be furry, but it was a community. You need to be in community too. This is the only way you are going to lift yourself up when you can't lift yourself up because your community will help lift you up. Your community will help you market your book. Your community is everything. And your community is two-pronged. There's the community that you who are your students, your followers, the people who are learning from you. And then there's the community that you join and participate in who are your peers who are helping to lift you up to the next level. So there you go. 5 lessons for creating your client attracting book that you are inspired by Tarzan. There's exploring new territories, which is new angles. Listening to the jungle, which is tapping into your natural curiosity. The jungle call, which is identifying your passion. Building a treehouse, which is structuring your ideas. And tribal wisdom, which is learning from others. On Friday, I will be continuing this series of episodes inspired by TV shows that first aired the year I was born. And that episode on Friday, I will be talking about how to launch your book like the Green Hornet. I will see you then. This is Carma Spence saying ciao for now.